show, Sunday Night Football and Super Bowl 56, only on NBC.
Lambeau Field. That's my favorite. To me, this is what football is all about. It's about a stadium, and it's about grass, and it's about tradition, it's about great players, and it's about Vince Lombardi. When I started in coaching, Vince Lombardi was my idol. To me, Green Bay is solid. There's tradition, there's something to hold on to.
I've always said if you're ever going to build a shrine to professional football, it should be right here in Green Bay, Lambeau Field.
And there is no more appropriate place for Sunday Night Football to be on this weekend than right here at that shrine, Lambeau Field. John would love a night like this. It is cold, but the grills are hot, brats are cooking, fans are ready, they are warm. It's a typical Lambeau night. It is tradition-rich NFC divisional matchup. The temperatures are low, the stakes are high. As we welcome you to a very special edition of Football Night in America, Mike Tirico, Chris Collinsworth, get you going tonight from the booth and the stadium where John Madden called so many great games. Just hear the name Brett Favre, and you can hear John Madden saying Brett Favre. Aaron Rodgers saw his career get started as well as a starter. You spent so much time with John. It's been wonderful to watch the tributes to John Madden all week, especially watching the games today. When you were with him at NBC and at Fox, what was it about John that made him so magnetic and so special?
Yeah, I'll tell you how stupid I am. I replaced that man twice. That's not a wise thing to do. But I think for John, the thing that sticks out to most to me is that he was sort of just a man of the people. Occasionally you would see him like in a hotel lobby and he would just sit down. And then a couple of people come up, and you have a conversation, and then a few more, and people go, is that really John Madden? And then you'd hear John with his very unique laughs, and he'd start laughing. And all of a sudden, his stories would get a little louder, and then you'd look over, and he'd start waving his arms a little bit, and pretty soon the crowd is really gathered around, and it's got a whole bunch of people. And then he'd leave, and they'd go, can you believe John Madden just sat there and told us stories in the lobby of this hotel? But that's what he loved to do the most. He really did. So it doesn't surprise me at all that this place, with these people and these fans would have been his favorite.
Yeah, it's one of those nights where it's 14 degrees out, but the stadium's already filling up, and we're still an hour plus from kickoff. It's a special night for all of us on Sunday Night Football because of Madden's legacy, as he was the first one in the analyst chair with Al Michaels on Sunday Night Football on NBC. And Al is going to join us a little bit later. We'll have a special tribute to John Madden. But more on Madden as our Football Night crew joins us from the studio. Maria Taylor, Tony Dungy, and Drew Brees. Good evening, guys.
Good evening, Mike. Thank you so much. And we'll continue to honor the legacy and the life of John Madden. And obviously, he impacted the game in infinite ways. But as Chris just said, he was a man of the people. So there's so many personal connections and experiences and memories that people have. And Coach, I'm sure you have some.
I do, and I can expand on Chris's story. My second year in Tampa, we're starting to win. We finally get the A-team. We get Coach Madden broadcasting our game. I invite my buddy, Matt Gray, down from Pittsburgh, show him a grand time. Sideline passes, stay in the team hotel, meet all the players. Saturday after practice, he comes out and he sees the Madden bus. Can you introduce me to John Madden? So I did. And hey, Matt, how are you? Come on the bus. And the greatest time. That was the best thing in the world. He still has that picture. That was the highlight of his week, with getting to meet John Madden.
Yeah, and there's some games that just mean a little bit more than others, whether it's where you're playing or the coach and the quarterback that's on the other sideline or the person who's broadcasting the game. And I know that's the way I felt when John Madden broadcast my first game with him, which was 2006. It was our first year with the New Orleans Saints. We actually got flexed. I think it was the first game ever to be flexed on Sunday Night Football at Dallas. So we're playing the Cowboys, huge game to determine the number 2 seed. And I remember walking into the production meeting, and there's John Madden. Large man, but a larger-than-life man. And just the stories that were exchanged, and just I was more interested in asking him questions than the other way around. But just a man that had such and left an indelible mark on this league, and had such a strong impact on all of us.
I've loved hearing these stories this week, and I didn't have the honor of meeting Madden, but I was talking to Matt Millen, who's a close friend of his, and one thing he stressed was that he was a servant leader, that he was always a teacher, but also very eager to be a student and always wanted to help people understand the game. And that was something interesting that I took away from it. But one thing that we all know about John Madden was that he had great energy. He had an ability, obviously, to make us understand the game from that broadcasting booth, which we all envy. And we all know his signature boom call. And we actually found the game when it started. So take a look at this.
Conrad got out there a little, and then he looked like he hesitated just before he made the block that sprung Chuck Muncie. Right there was a little hesitation, and then boom, he went in and he got his man, and that was the block that sprung Chuck Muncie for the long run.
All right, that was Madden's first ever broadcast in 1979, Saints 49ers, and someone we know on the field, Coach. Who is that?
Who is it?
Who is it?
That free safety chasing Chuck Muncie down. I didn't know I was involved in the first boom ever. What an honor.
That is an incredible honor and great story for you to have. So we have the original boom here, but we have so many more stories here on Football Night in America. Chris Sims, what memories do you have?
Well, I got a lot of memories. I really do. And really growing up, of course, my dad was the quarterback of the New York Giants, and I felt like John Madden was like the narrator of my dad's life as I grew up. I mean, late 80s, early 90s, of course, the Giants were so good. But I'm at practice on a Saturday and just having a little catch, off to the side, trying to stay out of the way from the Saturday walkthrough. On those practices, John Madden and Pat Summerall would kind of watch practice, but walk the field and talk. So I'm sitting there having a catch and, of course, look a lot like my dad. And Madden, kind of, hey, you're the Sims kid. And I just, yes, that's me. And of course, just talks to me for a few minutes, but then brings me on the Madden Cruiser. And for a young kid at the age of 9, 10, whatever year it was back then, I mean, this was a special thing. John Madden's bus, getting to go on that, and really from that point on, just great to me. Whenever he saw me, it's like we were friends, two peas in a pod. That's my story of John Madden, a really special guy. Mike Florio, what do you got?
Well, we know so much about Coach Madden as a coach, as a broadcaster, as a video game icon, but one thing that isn't as widely known, after he retired from NBC as a broadcaster, he became an unpaid advisor to the league, and he was a fierce advocate for player safety. He worked tirelessly to come up with ways to make the game safer. One of his focal points, making sure that any player who may have suffered a concussion would be removed from play. And we've seen a few examples over the years where a player was clearly in distress but wasn't removed from the game. He would be livid when that happened, and he pushed harder and harder to make sure that players were taken care of when they possibly were concussed, get them out of the game. And I'm told that he actually spent a couple of years trying to remove the three-point stance from football at every level, because he was convinced that as offensive and defensive linemen fire off the ball, those helmet-to-helmet collisions that happen even at low speed were not good for the game. They're not good for the players. He was interested in making everything safer for everyone who put on a helmet and played football. From where, let's go back to Lambeau Field with Jack Collinsworth and Rodney Harrison.
Well, Mike, that is a great description of who Coach was. And Coach Madden, he's just one of the most in-demand people that I ever met. But he always just made everybody else feel like they were his top priority, and that was the magic. How did he impact your career, Rob?
He was broadcasting one of our games, and in his unique voice, he was like, oh, that Rodney Harrison, he's a great box safety. And I'm saying, box safety? I'm not a box safety. I can play it all. But he really pushed me and motivated me to become a better football player.
That's exactly what you did. And his Madden video game, it's been king for 3 decades. Maybe the best day of my life was when Coach Madden gave me a copy of Madden 07. I'm pretty sure it wasn't even 2005 yet, but Coach always lived in the future, and it's how kids like me fell in love with this sport.
It's not just kids like you. It was adults like me, and I almost lost my marriage, my wife, because I was playing that game till 4, 5, and 6 o'clock in the morning. But that game has influenced, impacted millions of people. What an incredible man Coach Madden was.
That's right. In this type of weather, it would make Coach Madden smile. It's a single-digit Sunday at Lambeau Field as the Vikings are scrapping for their playoff hopes against the top seed in the NFC on this frozen tundra. Well, with Kirk Cousins person's on the COVID list. Sean Mannion gets the start. He has a big arm, but tonight will be his first snap since 2019. He's looking for his first career touchdown this evening as well. Without key players, Minnesota needs a pair of wins to sneak in, while the Packers can lock down the NFC's only first-round bye with wins over Sean Mannion tonight in Detroit next week, while Aaron Rodgers looking to win back-to-back MVP awards along the way. Why is the reason to believe he can get this Packers team over the top this year?
Well, it starts with Matt LaFleur. He knows and he understands Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is playing some of his best football, but also A.J. Dillon. He's going to be a big part of the game plan tonight and moving forward in the playoffs. It's cold out here. You don't want to tackle a 240-pound back in this weather.
And the Packers, they're going to get 3 Pro Bowlers back as well. David Bakhtiari, Zadarius Smith, Jair Alexander. So what will that infusion of talent do to an already 12-win team?
Outside of the quarterback, those are the most important positions. You got left tackle, you got a pass rusher, and you got your all-pro corner. This should set them up for a good run.
And after New Orleans shut out Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, he has been the heavy favorite to win the MVP. He can create even more separation tonight. Maria, back over to you.
Yeah, all he's done is throw 13 touchdowns, 0 turnovers during a 4-game win streak, so another win tonight would be huge for him, Coach.
Yeah, and if I'm Coach Matt LaFleur coaching Aaron Rodgers, I want this bye because the worst thing that can happen to me is have his toe get stepped on. So bye gives us one less chance for that to happen.
Yeah, I think they've learned a lot from their previous experience the last couple of years in the playoffs. I think that more so than ever, these guys on offense especially have these defined roles that they've embraced, and they're truly come together as a team.
All right, so we're getting you set for that game tonight. Let's talk about the games we've already seen today. We've got the Giants on the road taking on the Bears, and the NFL had a moment of silence before the games today, obviously to honor the Hall of Fame coach and legendary broadcaster John Madden. Passed away on Tuesday, but this was an easy one for the Bears and Andy Dalton.
Yeah, the Bears played like this game meant something to them. The Giants didn't.
The Bears win it 29-3. Yeah, the Giants win it with -10 net passing yards. Okay, the Lions on the road taking on the Seahawks. Russell Wilson, Pete Carroll been together for 10 seasons. This is their first losing season. Could be the last time we see them together.
Yeah, and if this was the last home game for that group, it was a good one. Russell Wilson, a couple of touchdown passes.
That game is still in progress, but right now the Seahawks are up big against the Lions. Meanwhile, remember, it's the biggest season ever, meaning we have another week of regular season football, and we don't know the exact schedule yet, but it starts with a Saturday doubleheader on ESPN and ABC, then the typical Sunday afternoon kickoffs on CBS and Fox, and we will wrap it up with game 272 next Sunday night right here on NBC. Well, maybe the reason an entire generation came to love video games was because of the Madden game. And check out the cover boy. Drew Brees was 2011.
Look at him.
Okay.
Yeah, the graphics look really good, Drew, when you were on the cover.
Getting ready.
Drew was one of 22 players to grace the cover. Chris Sims, you're throwing it out of the end zone.
Wow, look at that. They're just trusting me there, I guess. Bombs away.
What was your rating?
Not a 99. Not the same as Drew Brees's.
Gotcha. Okay, Robbie Harrison going up, getting the pick.
He's not a box safety. Look at that.
Look at that.
Coach, were you arguing with the refs here, or were you happy with them?
No, my boys used to play and fumble on purpose. They could see me get mad.
Okay, let's get back to the highlights. Jaguars taking on New England. They're looking to snap a 2-game losing streak. It was all New England, though, today. Trevor Lawrence, another interception.
All New England all day. Just too much to overcome. Patriots defense too good. Trevor Lawrence still a rookie. Had some bad mistakes today.
But some great storylines. Christian Wilkerson playing in his first NFL game, first catch, first touchdown. He had 2 of them today.
Offense was great for New England. Mac Jones was great. The running game was really good, too.
Maybe bad defense.
Maybe that, too.
Oh, Coach is always going to say that. Stephon Diggs giving a tribute there to John Madden. And in the first quarter, Josh Allen doing his own thing.
Yeah, well, that's what Josh Allen does. They ride Josh Allen. That was off of a turnover. But this is when you ride Josh Allen too much, Maria, as we all see every week. This can happen when you're just trying to make plays off schedule all the time.
He had 81 yards rushing, but obviously some mistakes made through the air. He threw 3 interceptions today against Atlanta.
But yes, he did. He was not efficient and kept Atlanta around. But Coach, Buffalo ran the ball today. Yes, that's right. You heard me correct.
The fans are saying it's too cold for you. It's just right for us. Buffalo gets the win 29-15. All right, Tampa Bay on the road taking on the Jets. And obviously Tampa Bay down 14. 4th and goal from the 4. Brady finding Cameron Brate for the touchdown.
Great throw. I mean, this was not wide open. He put it on him right as he came out of the break. break, and the Jets hung around. I don't understand this one, Maria. It's 4th and a long 2 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Well, it's an opportunity to put the game away. Zach Wilson kept it himself. He was stuffed, and that means that who gets the ball back?
Yeah, I think this guy's kind of clutch. I think we know that at this point. And yes, some questionable calls here by the Jets defense down the stretch.
Well, it's interesting. Tom Brady has more career starts than the entire starting defense on the Jets, and that's how he ends up with this 33-yard touchdown pass to Grayson Jr.
How?
What coverage was that?
I don't know. Protect the goal line. Make them work for the touchdown.
Yeah, the Bucs win it 28-24, but maybe some concerns on the defensive side of the ball after giving up that much on offense to the Jets.
I'm very concerned. This was a team that rode their defense into the Super Bowl last year. Injuries, they are not the same group playing right now.
No, you're missing guys in the secondary, the defensive line, linebackers. You know, we got the Antonio Brown, Chris Godwin. They're not there either. You know, so yes, a team of all-stars, but I don't know. This many injuries mounts up. It's going to be tough here down the stretch.
Okay, so they sneak out with the win in the Meadowlands, but you mentioned Antonio Brown. That's the other story that came out of this game. A very bizarre scene. AB in the third quarter, the Bucs wide receiver actually took off his jersey, his pads, his gloves. You see his undershirt there, obviously upset. He threw his shirt and gloves into the stands before actually running off of the field. And we're going to hear what Tom Brady had to say about the incident. But first, let's hear from Tampa Bay head coach Bruce Arians.
Can you tell us what happened to Antonio Brown? Did he quit? I've never seen a guy leave the field like that. And is this the last strike for him?
He is no longer a Buck. All right, that's the end of the story. Let's talk about the guys that went out there and won the game.
I think everybody should find, hopefully do what they can to help him in ways that he really needs it. And, we all love him. We care about him deeply. We want to see him be at his best. And, unfortunately, won't be with our team.
Two strong sentiments from the leaders of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We've heard from AB. He had this tweet, Super Gremlin, which is an ode to a Kodak Black song. But let's bring in Mike Florio. Mike, what can you tell us about the situation with AB?
Well, Maria, the organization is very concerned about his mental health. You could hear it in the comments from Tom Brady, both inside and outside the organization. That's the short-term focal point. But if they do move forward and release him, he passes through waivers. If he's not claimed by another team, he becomes a free agent. And it's easy to say, based on what we saw today, that it's over, it's done. No one else is going to give him another second chance. But talent always finds a way. And there are teams out there that are trying to win playoff games and pursue Super Bowl championships. And he helped the Buccaneers get one last year. So if whatever happened today can be explained and it settles down, you can't rule out another team possibly taking a chance on Antonio Brown at some point over the balance of the season.
And Mike, I've said this in the past. I feel sorry for Antonio Brown. He's talented, but he needs help. And the NFL, we're not doing him any favors if we keep signing him and keep rewarding this kind of behavior. Don't sign him until he gets some help.
Yeah, well, we certainly hope that he gets the help that he needs, and we'll keep you updated as we learn more about AB. Meanwhile, the frozen tundra getting set for our Sunday night football game. The Vikings on the road, taking on the Packers tonight.
Is Football Night in America, served by Applebee's.
Sunday Night Football! Everybody watching!
Temperature in the teens. The feels like is in the single digits as we welcome you back to Football Night in America here at a place John Madden called his favorite. Lambeau Field, Green Bay, Wisconsin, as we work towards the Packers and the Vikings on Sunday Night Football. And no matter what football broadcast you may have been watching today, certainly heartfelt memories of John Madden. Such a close feeling for so many in our industry and all across the networks because John was so special. He worked at all four companies that broadcast the National Football League. As mentioned earlier, his last 3 years in the Sunday Night Football booth on NBC, the first 3 years of Sunday Night Football on NBC, and his partner, another Hall of Famer, Al Michaels. Al joins us now with his recollections of his pal.
To those of us lucky enough to have him as a friend and colleague, and to the millions who knew him through television, there were a lot of things that made John Madden one of a kind. But the common thread to all was what a great communicator he was.
Let's start off and stay after the whole game.
What a thoughtful listener. What a terrific teacher. As a coach, The numbers speak for themselves.
Going to the Super Bowl. Okay, my defense!
Even if a lot of fans today might not know he had the highest winning percentage of any coach who won 100 or more games.
John Madden's grin is from ear to ear on the shoulders of his players.
Then he turned to broadcasting and created a new template with a style that was original, often imitated but never duplicated.
Boom, we cross him. The left goes to the right goes to the left. This guy crosses here.
Lots of people behind a microphone have football knowledge.
He makes a little basketball twist there and pivot, and boom, the ball's there.
But he was an artist in making the complicated simple.
Give him a lane in there.
Making a complex game accessible, understandable, educational, and usually entertaining.
See how heat does come out of the top of your head just coming off
The same can be said for his iconic video game. When the software people approached John about putting his name on their idea,
if the defense
he didn't just say yes, he dove in and over the years worked with them to make sure that game was as close to the real deal as possible.
This is what the game of football is all about.
That people could truly learn the game he loved as they played it.
I'm doing good. I just didn't accept it.
All along the way, John's fear of flying compelled that he traveled around the country on his bus, exploring the hinterlands and flyover country at his own pace, genuinely connecting with people from every state in restaurants, rest stops, coffee shops, anywhere. It was like hitting the lottery to have John as my partner in the booth for 7 years on Monday and Sunday nights. But the best memories I'll take with me are just like our first meeting 46 years ago. Going out to dinner, or opening up a newspaper, and talking about history, geography, food, life, anything and everything in addition to football.
This has been the sweetest ride of them all.
John Madden made everyone around him better. He was a larger-than-life character. He was the one and only.
And speaking of the one and only, Al Michaels joins us from California for some more reflections. I loved listening to the words in that piece, Al, so heartfelt and really hitting home. Can you take us back 4+ decades, the first time that you met John?
1975, Mike, I was doing a regional game for CBS in Oakland, went over to his office at the practice facility, sat there, talked about football for about 5 minutes, then talked about everything else. And he brought up at that point one of his favorite books, the classic Steinbeck book, Travels with Charlie, where Steinbeck went around the country with his dog. And John said, when I retire from coaching, and I knew it was going to be sooner than later, and it was, he was going to get a motorhome and explore every part of America. And as it turned out, of course, on that bus, John did exactly that. He left the poodle at home, but he saw every nook and cranny of this country.
You know, Al, do you remember the very first time we all got together on Sunday Night Football? The whole group did. It was a preseason game in Cincinnati. Of course, Holly had everybody over at the house, and everybody wanted to meet John. I had some friends and family around there, and I said, hey, John, you know, before you really get going, can you just say hi to my 2 boys over here? So he goes over and he said, you know, you guys play football? And he goes, yeah, we play in the junior football league. And coach goes, oh, yeah. He said, well, what kind of defense you play? He goes, we play a 6-2. We play a 6. And John goes, a 6-2? I know all about a 6-2. And he takes the salt pepper shaker and then he gets all the utensils and he lines them up and he's got a 6-2 out there. And he's, you know, flailing his arms and he's doing the whole thing. And my boys are sitting there just wide-eyed. They could be. An hour later, he's still there talking football with those 2 boys. He gets up at the end of it and goes, this has been one of my favorite parties. Thanks for having me over there. Didn't say hello to anybody, but he was so all into those boys and the way they love football. And that's the connection that I think that he really ended up having with everybody in America.
And you saw that, Al, all the time.
You know, he did that at dinner as well. He would take this pepper and salt shaker, and then he would take the silverware. And one night, speaking of Green Bay, we were having dinner in Green Bay, and I ordered French onion soup without the onions. I don't like any vegetables at all. And he said, what? And they brought it out without the onions, and then he made the chef come out. He said, how do you do this? Does the broth go in first? Do you put the crouton in? You put the cheese in? Tell me how it's done. This was John. He was a great teacher, but he loved to learn. And he was such a great conversationalist about anything and everything. And I think one of the things that, really have to point out about John, he made everybody around him better. You listen to all the players that played for him through the years and how much they loved him. And those of us who broadcast with him and spent time on that crew, everybody loved him. He always came with a bright outlook. He always came in a realm where everybody had to live up to John's standards. He made you do that. And I'll never forget him on any number of levels. That would be probably number one.
As we were texting that night after he passed, as you said, Al, a unicorn, one of a kind, won't see anyone like him. Thank you. We'll see you next Sunday night. Enjoy the game, pal. Al Michaels joining us from California. And the Madden thoughts and tributes are on the mind of every generation, including some of the players on the field here tonight. Guys out in warm-ups before the game wearing T-shirts, just remembering John Madden, 60 years apart in age, but a part of all of us. Football Night in America continues with more highlights with Maria and the guys back in the studio after this.
Celebrating the victory, presented by Allstate.
John Madden has done a master job of game planning and preparing them. Oakland now just set a new Super Bowl record for total yardage. The Raiders score again. They were off the ball. Their timing was good. You could just see it was going to be one of their days. That's the toughest job Oakland's had today. Hopefully John Madden and the Raiders have won a Super Bowl championship. They are the world champs.
Football Night in America is brought to you by Applebee's. Now that's eating good in the neighborhood. And by U.S. Bank. We'll get there together.
All right, it's time for the PointsBet Pulse. That's right, you see it, Aaron Rodgers over under. He usually has pretty good success throwing the ball against this Minnesota defense. Oh, Davante Adams over under. Ooh, I don't know. Davante Adams has been on fire as well lately. We know that Rodgers-Adams, a very special connection, one of the best in football, and that's what Drew and I are going to break down for you a little bit here as far as what goes on in this football game. All right, so here we go. We got this play right here. We go, Drew. We're gonna have a little play action pass. Dylan, fake the reverse. Here's Davante Adams gonna be running the crosser, and we got another crosser going the other way.
Yeah, really common play in the red zone. A lot of teams run this. You call it these double spears. Now listen, it's really designed for man, not zone. Minnesota does a nice job. They pass it off in zone so nobody's open. But this is what separates the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams from others. Off-schedule play, Aaron Rodgers starts scrambling. He signals, hey, Davante, slide inside. That's where the hole is. These guys have such an incredible chemistry and ability to read each other's minds, find the open hole, and make the big plays.
Yeah, that's what's special about them. It really is. I mean, it's like my John Madden. Hey, that's the thing about these guys. You cover them and they still score a touchdown. They're pretty unbelievable. Download the PointsBet app and get betting options you won't find anywhere else. Maria, over to you.
All right, let's get back to the highlights, Coach. And we start with the Carolina Panthers on the road taking on the Saints. Saints trying to stay alive. We take you to the fourth quarter. Taysom Hill looking to Alvin Kamara, and he'll take it.
And Kamara was so big today on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, his 9th touchdown this season, his 5th receiving TD. Less than a minute to go, Panthers still down 8. Sam Darnold sacked the defense stepping up.
Yes, once they got the lead, Cam Jordan and that defensive line took over.
Jordan had 3.5 sacks today. Impressive. The next play, Darnold is intercepted by C.J. Gardner-Johnson. The Saints get to stay alive in the postseason race. They need a win and a little bit of help next week to get in. So keep playing the game, guys. I think that's what they're doing. I think they're playing Madden as a celebration. I don't know. The Eagles taking on the Washington football team, Coach, and Washington need to get a win against the Eagles to keep their playoff hopes alive.
And this is where Taylor Heineke has been huge, and he had a chance here. This is just unfortunate. It's part of the rules. Incidental contact they called, not pass interference. It's the right call by the rule.
Rodney McLeod, he gets the interception. The Eagles seal that win 20-16, and the Eagles have won 4 of their last 6 games. Trey Lance getting the start for the first time since week 5 because Jimmy Garoppolo is out with a thumb injury, and he starts getting going as this game goes.
He was sluggish early on, but they got some design plays out of the pocket, and that's when Lance really started making it happen.
That touchdown was to Elijah Mitchell. Then in the fourth quarter, Lance finding a familiar target, Deebo Samuel.
Another one of those design plays to get him on the move, and Samuel is just tremendous.
Yes, so San Francisco picks up their 6th win in the last 8 games. Time now to simplify the game, powered by Microsoft Surface. Chris?
Well, Coach said it. I mean, Trey Lance was pretty impressive after a little bit of a slow start. We know he's an athlete. We know he's got a strong arm. No doubt about that, Drew. We wanted to see if he could play quarterback, manage situations, make accurate throws, and he did that today. And I think that's what we're going to show you here right off the bat. First off, right, Drew, we know he's an athlete. Bootleg off the Shanahan run game. Great job here. You know, pumps, gets the defender to jump in the air, reads the coverage, understands two guys are driving on Kittle, makes a nice throw down the field, gets a first down early on.
Yeah, but the key to playing quarterback in the National Football League is your ability on third down to stand in the pocket and deliver throws like that. Tight window throws, getting the ball out of his hand quickly. You've seen the maturation from the beginning of the season until now. His ability to decipher what's happening, get the ball out quickly.
Yeah, it was impressive. It was good game by Trey Lance. 49ers, pretty good on offense altogether, Maria.
And honestly, Chris, we saw the maturation of a quarterback throughout this game, Coach. You mentioned it during the highlight.
Yeah, and to me, that was the most important thing for San Francisco today. Yes, they had to get the win, but they may have to go all the way with Trey Lance, and they got him comfortable. As the game went on, he looked like a winning quarterback in the NFL.
Threw 2 touchdown passes in the second half, and that was a huge move for the San Francisco 49ers. So for the latest on the wild card race, let's get it over to Steve Kornacki for the first time tonight. Break it down for us, Steve.
Yeah, NFC wild card coming down to the final 2 spots. 4 teams in contention for those final 2 spots, and in a few hours from now, it could be 3 teams. That's what's at stake for the Vikings, unless they can pull off the mother of all upsets tonight against the Packers. The Vikings with a loss would be eliminated. Also, if the Vikings lose tonight, the Eagles would clinch one of those final 2 wild cards in the NFC. So if the Vikings don't beat the Packers, the Eagles are in, and then it all comes down to the Niners or the Saints. The Niners, what they would have to do is just win next week. Could be a little difficult, though. They are playing against the Rams. What the Saints will need, they need the Niners to lose to the Rams next week, and then the Saints have to knock off the Falcons. On paper, at least, a more winnable game for the Saints, but they're going to need some help to make the playoffs.
All right, well, guess what? The 49ers have won 5 straight against the Rams. We'll see if they're able to pull it off. Sean Mannion fighting an uphill battle, filling in for Kirk Cousins, who's out with COVID-19 in our Sunday Night Football matchup.
Simplify the game, powered by Microsoft Surface, the official sideline technology provider of the NFL.
Get the party started.
Oh, baby, what a turn of events. More, please. More. Holy smokes.
Gasoline in my veins, beat the fuel through my veins.
End zone. Touchdown.
As we rise from the flames. Heart of a lion, never say never.
Number 443.
Shine on the cracks and there it is. It's time to fire on up. Oh, it's time to fire on up.
This is Football Night in America, served by Applebee's.
The hometown green and gold are used to Hall of Fame quarterback play, but the defensive growth has elevated Super Bowl expectations, and it's hard to believe. Rasul Douglas was available on Arizona's practice squad. What has he brought to this secondary? As a midseason pickup, he was.
He's been fantastic. He came in November, had to learn the playbook, 5 interceptions. He's a big reason why they have the number 1 seed.
Tough matchup tonight he has with a young superstar in Justin Jefferson. He's our Sunday Night 7. How many receptions and receiving yards for him tonight?
Well, no Adam Thielen, and I expect a lot of Dalvin Cook. I expect him to have 6 receptions. He's still a baller, between 65 and 79 yards.
Well, with $1 million on the line, you can make your picks along with us on the NBC Sports Predictor app. Maria, we'll get it back over to you.
Thanks, Jack. We'll get you back to the highlights. And longtime Broncos head coach Dan Reeves spent nearly 4 decades in the NFL as a player and coach, passed away yesterday at the age of 77. And he was with the Broncos for 3 Super Bowl appearances. But it's Justin Herbert, it's Mike Williams, and it's the Chargers that played well against the Broncos.
No doubt. Dominated the football game from the get-go. Broncos offense couldn't do anything.
Yes, and meanwhile, Denver loss officially eliminates them from playoff contention. The Raiders are honoring John Madden as well. He coached the Raiders for 10 seasons, including a victory in Super Bowl 11. Carson Wentz, though, starting for the Colts today after being cleared off the COVID list a little slow to start, but then a little bit of Hilton magic might
Well,
help
yeah,
out.
a little bit of a horseshoe luck right here. Certainly, this was not a good decision. Carson Wentz, it was not an easy game for him. You could tell he missed practice all week, but this was luck was on his side here with T.Y. Hilton.
Right place, right time, I guess. Early in the fourth, Wentz overthrows his wide receiver, then open Hilton on that play.
Big moment right there. I mean, should have hit that up 17-13, have a chance to really control the game and put the Raiders in a tough spot.
Okay, so Derek Carr, he's going to take it, and he's going to look for his guy, Hunter Renfrow.
John Madden be happy about the Raiders' performance today. It was gritty. Carr had 2 interceptions, let the Colts hang around, but made some big plays and big moments. And right here, this was close, but Renfrow was down.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he's touched. It looked like he took it all the way, but he was. So that means that the Raiders get the ball back, and they get the scoring field goal that's going to win the game. Huge win. The Raiders win it 23-20, and that means they clinch a playoff berth with the win against the Chargers next Sunday. The Dolphins at the Titans. Ryan Tannehill making his first start against his former team.
Running the football. Deontay Foreman up the middle. They're efficient on the offensive side of the ball. It's one of the best offensive lines in the game, the Tennessee Titans.
Foreman, 132 rushing yards. That's a career high. And then the Dolphins down 14. Tua Tagovailoa looking for Devontae Parker. It's incomplete. No touchdown passes, 1 interception for Tua. Upsetting day. Remember, the Dolphins had won 7 straight, but the Titans win it 34-3. And that's a huge win for the Titans, who have had to deal with so much adversity winning the AFC South.
Yeah, they have, but they're a really good football team. And don't be shocked if we're sitting here AFC Championship Sunday and watching the Tennessee Titans. #1 team, they're big up front on both sides of the ball. There's no team that's really a mismatch for the Tennessee Titans because of their size up front. And then, of course, Meg Vrabel, they're very well coached on both sides of the football.
Yeah, and they've had to play 88 different players throughout this stretch as they've dealt with adversity. But Coach and Drew, it's been impressive for the Titans.
Yeah, it's been impressive for the Titans. It's also been really impressive for the Raiders. I mean, would we have thought with everything that they've gone through this season, all the adversity, losing their head coach early, losing some key players along the way, that they've now won 3 in a row. And guess what? Next week, they play AFC West matchup, Chargers-Raiders. Winner gets into the playoffs. It's amazing that they've gotten themselves to that point. Kudos to that football team right now.
And it was disappointing for the Colts today. You know, Carson Wentz wasn't able to practice all week, so other guys were going to have to pick up the slack. And I thought the Raiders played with more energy early in that game especially. But to find out what all this means in the AFC, let's go to Steve Kornacki and sort it all out.
Yeah, well, Coach, the bad news for your former team there is they were jumped by the Patriots, who clinch a playoff berth. Now the Colts are part of that scramble for the final 2 wild card spots in the AFC. The good news for the Colts, though, is who do they play next week? They close out with Jacksonville. All the Colts have to do is beat the Jaguars, and they will lock down one of those final 2 spots. And if the Colts beat the Jaguars next week, it'll also eliminate Pittsburgh and Baltimore. The only chance Pittsburgh and Baltimore have of making the playoffs requires the Jags to win. So if Indianapolis wins next week, it will, as Drew just said, come down to the Chargers and the Raiders. Winner gets in, loser stays home.
All right, thank you so much, Steve. Those numbers courtesy of Pro Football Focus. Look, a Vikings fan has hope. So does Mike Florio. We'll see if he actually takes them at the end of the show.
Welcome to the Hyundai Sunday Night Kickoff.
We are wrapping up Week 17 at Lambeau, where the Green Bay Packers can clinch a #1 seed with a win tonight against the visiting Minnesota Vikings. So now let's go on the field, presented by Hyundai. And Coach, let's start with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, he's playing outstanding football, but what he's got to do tonight is keep his eyes open for that Minnesota blitz. They're going to come after him, try to create some confusion.
Yeah, and head coach Matt LaFleur with a win tonight. He'll have more wins than any head coach in history in his first 3 years. He's given this team so much confidence with his scheme, with his style of coaching, the way that he's empowered so many of these key players on the team, and they're ready to make a run.
Yeah, ready to make a run, ready to get a win, ready to clinch this #1 seed. But first, let's see what we've already watched this Sunday. Dak Prescott paying tribute to John Madden before the game, getting set to take on Kyler Murray and the Cardinals that come in off of 3 straight losses to the second quarter. The Cards are up 3. And check this out. They run a fake punt.
Yeah, struggling on offense, so Cliff Kingsbury dials up some things to get that offense going. Fake punt here. He also took some chances on 4th down.
Look at this unbelievable catch, though. Using the helmet there, Jonathan Ward. Unbelievable. Same drive, 4th and goal. Let's go for it. Kyler Murray will take it. 1-yard touchdown to Antoine West.
Love the play. Gave Kyler Murray a lot of options on that play.
So the Cardinals lead at 10-0, and then Arizona dominated the first 3 quarters. Dallas starting to come back here. Prescott looking for Amari Cooper.
2 scores down, need to score quick. Prescott gets it to Cooper, gives him a chance.
Yeah, the Cowboys go for 2. They get it, cut the lead to 3 points. Just over 2 to play. The Cards trying to put the game away. Murray will run for it, 9 yards, and the first down.
He's undefeated in AT&T Stadium, high school, college, and the NFL. I don't think you want to see him back there, Cowboys.
That would be 9-0 in Jerry World. He'll take the victory. All right, the Rams on the road taking on the Ravens. No Lamar Jackson, so that means Tyler Huntley is going to be the starting quarterback for the Ravens. Matthew Stafford struggled in the first half. Chuck Clark with the pick 6.
The Baltimore defense came up with some confusing things, actually got after Stafford in the Rams offense.
Yeah, but this proved costly, Coach. Tyler Huntley looking deep and is intercepted.
Minute and a half left. They had been controlling things, but now they give the Rams a chance to score before the half.
Yeah, here's where they take advantage. Stafford, his favorite target, that would be Cooper Kupp for the 18-yard touchdown. Kupp had 6 receptions, 95 yards and a TD.
And that really flipped the momentum.
4th quarter, just over a minute left. So you're going to see the Rams driving down 5, 4th down. Stafford looking for ODB.
Great play there, getting it to Beckham to get the first down, keep the drive going.
OBJ again for the touchdown.
Great hands, snatch catch, and then extend it over the pylon.
So the Rams win it by 1 for their 5th straight victory, 20-19. Yeah, you got to enjoy that one. Meanwhile, Baltimore, it's their 5th straight loss. Matthew Stafford, though, that was really a tale of 2 halves. We will get to that. The Kansas City Chiefs taking on Cincinnati. Joe Burrow and the Bengals, they don't ever look scared, do they? Because Jamar Chase is on their side.
He had a fantastic day today. All kinds of coverages he beat. This was a blown coverage, but even when he was covered, he handled it.
69 yards for that touchdown. He had 11 receptions, franchise record, 266 yards. Burrow finding Boyd here for the 5-yard touchdown. The weapons are everywhere.
They really are, and it was just back and forth in the second half.
Okay, game tied at 31. Bengals facing 3rd and 27. Burrow to who else, Coach?
I really didn't understand this. 3rd and 27, man-to-man coverage, no help. Chase had been doing it all day. Give your corner some help in that situation.
I'm with you, Coach.
He hauled it in there. Joe Mixon. Okay, so he's going to get stopped on 4th and goal, but guess what? Flags will be thrown. There's not enough drama in this final drive, I don't think. Offsetting penalties mean we will replay the 4th down, okay? So Zach Taylor's going to decide to go for it again, okay? But this time, he's going to go with Joe Burrow and a pass to Boyd. Let's see if he can make the play complete. No, Coach. Incomplete, but there's another flag.
Another penalty, and this was the Chiefs defensive backs all day. When they were locked up in man coverage, we got penalties and completions. Had a tough time handling those guys. Joe Burrow hurt there.
Yeah, limping off the field, and that means that we're going to see Evan McPherson come on. He is good from 20 yards. The Bengals get the win, and yeah, the AFC North is there for the first time in 2015. Joe Burrow, you got to be pretty excited.
I said it in the preseason. You know, we were talking about the playoffs, and I said, you know, we're gonna goal is the playoffs, and the easiest way to do that is to win the division. And you know, everyone kind of laughed at us a little bit, but you know, we knew the kind of team we had, the kind of guys in the locker room that we had, and we knew we could go out and do it.
And that locker room celebration was pretty impressive. They clinched the AFC North for the first time since 2015. And you enjoy watching this team. You said one of their most exciting teams in the NFL right now.
Without question. I mean, they're so explosive. They've got weapons all over the place. I don't know how you cover this group of receivers. And they can run the ball with Joe Mixon. My only question mark about the Cincinnati Bengals is their defense. They've lacked consistency at times. They've really relied on their offense to get up by a lot of points so they can rush the passer and force turnovers. But can they do that on a consistent basis in the playoffs?
But Drew, you've watched them. You love it. Did the Kansas City defense watch them? Why were they lining up play after play after play with man coverage, no help, bump and run on those wide guys? It didn't make sense.
Well, 5 plays of 30-plus yards today, Coach. I'm sure that had you just scratching your head, especially the ones that continue to go to Jamar Chase. But we all saw Joe Burrow limping a bit late in their win. Mike Florio, what's the latest on the QB?
Well, what happened was he twisted his right knee. That's not the same knee as the one that was seriously injured a year ago. He said after the game that the knee is good enough. He could have played if he had to, and that he actually first injured it 4 weeks ago against the Chargers. And not that this counts as medical evidence, but he was dancing in the locker room after the game to celebrate the AFC North championship.
Yes, he was dancing and also smoking a cigar with this guy, Jamar Chase. The Bengals clinched the AFC North for the first time since 2015. Remember, at LSU, they were first rounders. They're both big parts of their turnaround success at LSU, and now it's happening with the Bengals. But now it's time for the Sunday night game flow presented by Progressive. Chris Sims.
Well, you guys talked about it. I mean, Jamar Chase was phenomenal. The Kansas City Chiefs defense had no answers for him all game long, and they tried everything. Chase is a phenomenal individual talent. You know, great ball skills down the field, and then what he can do after the catch. Here, just smart, kind of settling down in the zone, but then it's go gadget legs, and you can see he can run by everybody. One-on-one, he's as tough a matchup as there is in football. Yes, his speed and the ability to adjust to the ball in the air. And then you heard Coach break this down. 3rd and 27. Why play this defense? I don't know. The guy's been burning you all game long. What said that you might stop him there? Chase was on fire today.
All right, that was the Sunday night game flow presented by Progressive. Good work, Chris. Meanwhile, Aaron Rodgers trying to put in some good work here tonight. He has thrown 13 touchdowns, 0 turnovers during the Packers' 4-game win streak. We'll see what he has for us tonight.
Since the last game, they had a baby bucket. You got a family bucket? Yep, got a baby bucket. He doesn't have anything here at all. You could have a barbecue on that head. You put your arm up your leg like this. Hucklebuck.
That's the way you do it when you do the hucklebuck.
Just a stiff arm. Hey, do the old hucklebuck.
Let her rip.
Like I was saying. And another thing. Oh, here's a picture one. Yeah. And I think Thanksgiving is a great example of that. There is a turkey. You see, you cut it like right down here. Then you cut it this way. I mean, here's a leg. Then we got 3 here. We got 3 here. See, and then this is what it looks like inside.
Coach, I've actually never seen a better use of a Telestrator than John Madden.
Classic, no doubt.
We should all be getting lessons from that. That was the best of Telestration from John Madden. Let's get to the best of Week 17. And guys, let's start in the AFC, Coach. Denver on the road taking on the Chargers, and the Chargers picked up a big win.
Yes, got their big play offense going, set up a big matchup next week with the Raiders.
Yes, Chargers can clinch a playoff spot with a win in Vegas next week. Josh Allen, though, getting it done with his legs today, Drew.
Yeah, he was. Just the type of conditions you would expect in December in Buffalo. He threw 3 picks today, but ran the ball extremely well.
All right, Bills can clinch the AFC East with a win next week against the Jets. It was a get-right game for the Patriots.
Yeah, and they needed this. They had struggled the last couple of weeks, but 50 points on the Jaguars.
Pretty impressive. Mac Jones, 3 touchdown passes. Vegas hanging on to get the win. Raiders on top.
In honor of John Madden, gutsy win by the Raiders.
Both the Raiders and the Colts can clinch a playoff spot with a win next week. And Miami taking on Tennessee. Ryan Tannehill walking away with the win.
Yeah, they got their ground game going, set up these play-action passes.
Yeah, they were able to roll there against Miami. That ended their 7-game win streak. Kansas City, Cincinnati, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, just putting on a show.
I'll say it again, Coach. 3rd and 27. What are you doing?
I don't know.
Especially don't let that guy catch it.
Okay, then the Bengals going for it on 4th and goal in the final minute. How about the penalty call?
Yeah, this was back and forth. We were even questioning why they were going for it again, but they finally get the first down. They can run the clock down and kick the game-winning field goal.
Yep, Evan McPherson stepping up from 20 yards for the win. The Bengals win the AFC North for the first time since 2015. So, take a look at the AFC playoff picture. 5 of the 7 spots have been clinched, and Coach, Tennessee took control of the race for the 1 seed today.
Yeah, huge for them. Beat Houston next week, and you can get a bye and rest up and possibly get Derrick Henry back.
Yeah, the Colts could clinch by beating the Jags next week, and if that happens, the winner of Chargers Raiders gets the last spot. To the NFC. All right, a little bit of an odd scene in MetLife Stadium. Antonio Brown was visibly upset. He left the stadium in the third quarter, throwing his jersey and his gloves out into the stands. Bruce Arians later said he's no longer a Buck, but on the field, the Bucks get the win.
In spite of all the drama, they've got Tom Brady, and that was good enough this afternoon.
Yeah, and it was a 14-point deficit in the Meadowlands they had to overcome. Philly, they get the win against Washington.
Yeah, you thought you were going to get some Taylor Heineke magic again in the fourth quarter, but once again, the Philadelphia Eagles come up with a big play to win the game.
Yep, still in the race for a playoff spot. Carolina taking on New Orleans. New Orleans staying in the race, too.
Keep their hopes alive with Alvin Kamara and the defense.
Yeah, they need another win and to get a little bit of help to make the playoffs. Houston, San Francisco. It's the rookie Trey Lance that got the start for the first time since week 5.
Yeah, he started off slow, but then really settled into the game plan. A lot of plays on the move, making throws like this down the field to Deebo Samuel, also standing in the pocket, making some big third down conversions.
And the Rams taking on the Ravens. The Rams, they're rolling winners of 5 straight.
Yeah, after first half struggles, Stafford to Odell Beckham for the game winner.
Yeah, the Rams can clinch the NFC West with a win over the Niners next week. And then it was Arizona taking on Dallas in the house that Kyler built.
That's right. We didn't know where Arizona went for 3 weeks, but they were back in action today. Kyler Murray, a lot of great throws and sealed the deal in the fourth quarter with a couple nice runs.
Never lost in Jerry World. Okay, the NFC Playoff Picture, 5 spots have been clinched. The Packers can clinch the #1 seed with a win tonight. The Vikings are out with a loss. The Eagles clinch with the Vikings loss, and the 49ers can clinch with a win next week. Okay, that is the big picture, Coach. What is your biggest takeaway in Week 17?
Well, Tampa Bay, a lot of drama and a lot of injuries, but they still have Tom Brady and dynamic offense. Watch out for them.
Yeah, interested to see what happens with San Francisco and the Rams in their game next week. Rams were able to jump up to the 2 seed, but in order to win that division, they need to beat San Francisco. And by the way, they have lost to San Francisco the last 5 in a row. So let's see if they can get that win.
Yeah, all right. Kyle Shanahan has a little bit of an edge over John McVay.
Right
yeah,
now.
just a little bit.
Right.
All right, it's time now for the home team picks brought to you by Lowe's. And to start us off, we go to Jack Collinsworth.
All right, Maria, 79% of the country is on the Packers. Minnesota took out Green Bay in Week 11, but the Vikings have less firepower for this rematch. Got a first-round bye, defending his MVP crown. That's peak motivation for Aaron Rodgers. And when it's this cold, you know A-Rod's bringing the heat. I love the Packers, and I love your hat, Rod. Who you taking?
You confused me with that. But anyway, the Packers veteran players, they understand the importance of having that #1 seed and getting Aaron Rodgers rest for that big toe. Packers by 2 touchdowns tonight.
There you go. Mike Florida, who you taking?
Hey, well, you know, if Sean Mannion can pull this off in place of Kirk Cousins, it will be magical, it will be memorable, it will be monumental. And it's not going to happen, Packers.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. Green Bay's defense hasn't been great, but yes, Sean Mannion and the Vikings are not going to beat Aaron Rodgers at home. I'm going Packers.
All right, I'm going with the Packers as well, guys. Coach, which way?
Packers all the way. I'm trying to figure out who those 21% of the people were that voted.
I'm just saying, below freezing wind chill in Green Bay.
Aaron Rodgers
to get the 1 seed. Green Bay.
Okay, this is a meme if we get them all wrong. Those were tonight's home team picks brought to you by Lowe's. We've got the kickoff coming up in Green Bay. The Packers looking to clinch the #1 seed in the NFC. The Vikings hoping to pull off the upset and keep their playoff hopes alive. Mike, Chris, and Catherine Tappan have the call after Carrie Underwood gets us started. We'll see you at half.
This has been the Hyundai Sunday Night Kickoff. Spanish language audio provided by Telemundo Deportes, or watch tonight's game in Spanish on Universo.